We're here to solve your problems, and I'm here to solve the problems of our patrons, who graciously asked and shall receive this upcoming episode on active cults on DFF.
Before we start talking about this today, we have to look at the definition of cult, which I think is woefully wrong. Now, the first one is the one we're talking about here today, and it says a religion regarded. You see where my problem comes in yet, fellow fans of personal expression?
Regarded by who?
Right, regarded by whom, and who is the arbiter of whose regards mean anything? Because why do I care how people regard my religion, if I choose to have one? As unorthodox, what does that mean? Like, why? Are we to believe that in order to not be a cult, you have to adhere to orthodoxy? Because there's so many cults born of orthodoxy that we won't cover tonight because it's active cults. But we're talking about, like, orthodoxy is typically fertile ground for cults.
Of course.
Sure.
Now, in my opinion, all these religions are bullshit. All of them are fucking cults. Ultimately.
The ones,
like they're all cults and they're all religions.
Of course,
but
it's bullshit. Yeah.
The ones that we're going to learn about tonight are particularly bullshit because, well, at least most of them are openly and nakedly and obviously abusive of their members. And most people don't know about them until they explode into this big thing. There are a few cults that everybody knows about. I tried to avoid those tonight. Have you guys heard of Nxivm? Sorry, I said that wrong. Nxivm. Nxivm is spelled Nxivm, by the way. And it's a really, really complex topic to talk about. So I wanted to give you guys kind of a groundwork for what Nxivm is, and then we can kind of move from there and have a little discussion about it. So Nxivm is kind of unique on this list, but not unique amongst cults in that it is a kind of multi-level marketing scheme.
Well, the way they hook people in is this: be your own boss, make a ton of money, and, work from home. You can work from home and make, big bucks. And they have some person like, I started off at whatever company and now I make $150,000 a year. Thanks.
I love this, that our current way of doing things is not much better than
only
slightly better than a giant multi-level marketing scheme. There is a small distinction, but not most. For those that can't see and that are just listening on audio, the pyramids for a job are divided between the boss and owner, who get great earnings at the top of the pyramid, but it's a very small chunk of the pyramid. And then the kind of middle part of the pyramid is managers and specialists who get good earnings, and then the workers get standard wages, right? Which is
whatever that means.
Yeah. And then on the multi-level marketing side of things, it's spread a little thinner at the top. Let's put it that way. 0.1% are ultra dodeca rich. 0.4% are certifiably rich. 4% are like getting by. You know what I mean? They're okay. They aight. And 95% either lose money or work for absolute peanuts.
I believe you mean loose money.
Yeah,
Paul.
loose
money. Yes.
I don't know why that's such a difficult word for so many people.
MLMs are already kind of cultish, considering you have to delude yourself quite a bit to call yourself a successful entrepreneur. Doing them despite between making very little money hidden by lavish sales prizes or just being on the verge of bankruptcy. So, they're already like borderline cultish anyway. There's a lot of them that just skirt the law and are allowed to exist because, of course, like any other business that can be taxed, there are loopholes, and nobody really cares up at the top that there are people that take advantage of people in this way. So as long as you conform to the state standards, you can continue to pile on people, but they're all the same this way. As an entry-level person, you're expected to work for nothing, and there's absolutely no guarantee that you will ever rise above that station. Most people never do. But their labor and effort feeds that 1% up at the top while they are doing it.
Well, there's a fundamental misunderstanding about multi-level marketing by most people that they recruit, and it's something that the people that was at the top understand, but they don't understand. The people that join these companies, it doesn't matter which one it is.
Yep.
It's your job is not to sell whatever the product is. That's just the pretense.
Your job is to funnel people into it.
Yeah.
Constantly. Started by botched Bill Hicks clone Keith Raniere in 1998, back when Bill would have been around. So maybe he was going for the Bill Hicks look here. I don't know. This is a very old picture of Keith Raniere. He looks very different now. It was started by him in 1998 under the auspices of being an innocent multi-level marketing company. He had previous experience with similar ill-fated business ventures, so this wasn't his first go-round on this. Before founding Nxivm, he created a MLM called Consumers Byline, a business venture that the New York Attorney General shut down, basically. They accused of having being a pyramid scheme, and it collapsed under that accusation, basically. Raniere signed a consent order in 1996 in which he denied any wrongdoing, but agreed to pay $40,000 fine and to be permanently banned from promoting, offering, or granting participation in a chain distribution scheme. So that's it. That's Nxivm. Close the book on him, right? He can't ever do this again. They caught him back in 1998. Well, no, there's this little loophole we like to call religion and self-help and yoga. And they called these seminars, they would sell people these seminars in batches. And the one that was really pushed the hardest was called a 5-day intensive, where you're expected to go and, attend this 5-day seminar that by the end of it is going to change your life. It's based on a supposedly developed technology that was developed by this Raniere guy we talked about earlier, called rational inquiry. Sorry, I have trouble with this word. Rational inquiry.
There you go.
Rational inquiry.
What is that?
Oh, Scotty, doesn't it make sense all on the face of it? It's rational and it's inquiry, Scotty.
No.
Asking rational questions. Rational.
Oh, that's all it is, right?
Of course. That's all it is.
Just be rational. Okay. You don't need a fucking 5-day seminar to tell someone that. Act rationally.
You do.
He called the results, and not only he, but a lot of the people that took these courses and bought into this cult called the results extraordinary. Extraordinary. He had a nickname that he had to be called. He was not allowed to be referred to by his normal name. He was Vanguard. And the lady on the screen here that we're looking at, Nancy Salzman, who is like his second in command. I'm trying to remember what her name was. Fuck, I can't remember. She had a nickname too. It was like Provost or something. It was some like educational title. It was. His name was Vanguard and her name was something like Provost.
Dude, let me tell you something. Like,
we only do rational inquiry and psychodynamic understanding here that is going to elevate your spirit.
You guys know the
Climb
scene.
the ladder. You will make the money.
Oh,
You will achieve the success. Scotty, would you like to attend my 172-day course on how to achieve success?
No.
Okay. Yeah.
But it was all a front to funnel sex slaves to Keith.
Wow.
So we'll take a look at a little bit of how that played out. As for Allison Mack, she was later indicted for charges of sex trafficking, forced labor, and racketeering in 2019 as part of the collapse of this cult, or at least the collapse of the power structure of this cult. So what was this program behind the scenes, behind the curtain? It was called DOS. And that's the primary source of controversy for Nxivm. It stands for Dominus Obsequious Sororium. So if you speak Latin, let me know what the fuck that means. I know sororium has something to do with women, and dominus means power and control.
Yeah, like a master kind of thing. Yeah.
It also means dom over sub, which was the hidden meaning of DOS. When the women were recruited into DOS, they were told that the name of it was Dominus Obsequious Sororium. And they were told that it was a group of women within Nxivm that had created, with the blessing of Keith, this sorority of just women who understood just women's issues and that this was an exercise. It was a thought exercise. And the idea of DOS was, interestingly, to subvert yourself as a slave to a master within this little subgroup in Nxivm.
Wow, I wonder who the master was.
Your master, if you were a young, thin, pretty girl, which was what Keith preferred.
Yeah.
So they were basically being branded with his initials. This is done with a cauterizing iron, by the way, with no anesthetic.
Yeah. And that's why his message is so powerful, because it targeted so many of those people. And you saw people like holding hands, like we're having these seminars, having this group, like you're getting this connection, you're getting this strong human connection in an age where we know people are increasingly, they feel like lonely.
Well, I mean, it's pretty fucking simple when you really think about it. Like, I mean, you can talk about the complex psychology of it, but at the end of the day, really what this is a big box with a fucking stick, and then sitting in the box is, the fucking thing you want most. You get closer and closer. You go up to the thing. You grab it. The stick is fucking pulled away. The box shuts in, and then there you are. I think you're
absolutely
catch any fucking wild animal.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's the carrot on a stick shit. So the story of the Elan School, or Elan, almost reads like a Stephen King novel. It's first set up in the small town of Portland, Maine.
That's definitely a Stephen King novel right there.
It was outwardly a boarding school for troubled teens. The Elan School was founded in 1974 by child psychiatrist Dr. Gerald Davidson and politician, millionaire, and former heroin addict Joe Ricci, who I really tried to find a lot of information about, and there wasn't a lot of information about. He was a kind of a guy that was thought to maybe have mob ties, and as far as like him being a public figure that you can find info about, good luck. There's some court cases that they were never able to pin anything on him. By the way, I will tell you that the Elan School, while it's no longer in operation, nobody ever went to jail for it. Not a single person was jailed or indicted for what we're going to talk about here in a few minutes. So that makes that I snuck it in on that premise. Not necessarily actively a cult, but it never stopped. So the people that did this may be doing it again somewhere else in a different part of the country. Who the fuck knows? There was physical abuse in the form of boxing rings where students were pitted against one another in fights. Phil Williams Jr. died at age 15 in 1982 after being forced to participate in the school's notorious boxing therapy. The details of this therapy are illustrated in this clip, described by this founder, Joe Ricci. So this is what little bit I could find on Joe Ricci here.
Okay.
To the way that children are treated. One reason is the use of physical punishment. Joe, you make no bones about it. There is corporal punishment here at Elan. Tell us about it. What are the stages it comes in? Who's it administered by?
Well, it's administered by the kids, first of all. Corporal, it's a harsh term. Okay, what it is we have the ring, okay, which everybody misinterprets. It's not a boxing ring, it's a ring of human people.
Youngsters who are accused of being bullies are forced to fight continuously against a series of opponents until they are beaten.
The Brethren, or as they are actually more commonly known, the Garbage Eaters. So if you've ever been evangelized to by a crazy Christian, you might have been a Brethren. If you've ever had a homeless person come up and say Jesus is the way, it might have been part of the Brethren. I mean, I don't know. Here are some of thou shalls and thou shalt nots of the Brethren
now here's
cult.
where I try to decide whether or not I'm going to join the Brethren or not.
Sure. So number one, you already know you're separated from so you have to, like, unless your family wants to join the Brethren too, you can't be around them.
Yeah, I don't need them.
Okay.
Gone.
You're not allowed to attend university.
I didn't anyway.
Yeah, that was never going to happen.
And you're expected to take up a career in business. In fact, no other pursuit is sanctioned.
Well, everything's business. You know.
Sure.
Yeah.
So you could right now you're fine. You could do what you're doing now and be fine.
Yeah, this is business.
Just have to stop talking to your family.
Fits so far. Scotty, you going to join the Brethren?
This one might.
Well, I have to see. I have to hear all the qualifications.
All right.
This one might be a problem for you already, TJ.
We'll see. We'll see.
You are expected to live communally and nomadically, moving from city to city.
I don't really know about all that. Yeah, I don't really feel like doing nomadic shit. And communally, I mean, I don't know. That sounds annoying. I'd rather just be by myself most of the time.
You must accept a life of poverty and simplicity.
No.
Deep fat fried. Deep fat fried. Deep fat fried. Deep fat fried.